God is the name we give to the ceaseless, restless, creative flow of energy in the universe. I gave you a bunch of scripture and things on a handout today because I wanted to just hit that. I really like that. It's a fond definition of God. Ceaseless, restless, creative flow of energy. And I want to talk about God being everywhere present. And I realize that God being everywhere present is definitely a teaching. And it's in the Bible, and it's in many Holy Scriptures. And let me read some of them. There's a beautiful Psalm 139. Where can I go from your spirit? Or where can I flee from your presence? If I ascend to heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in Sheol, you are there. If I take the wings of the morning and settle at the farthest limits of the sea, even there your hand shall lead me, and your right hand shall hold me fast. If I say, surely the darkness shall cover me, and the light around me become night, even the darkness is not dark to you. The night is as bright as the day, for darkness is as light to you. Now, when we talk about God being present everywhere, it means that we also change the frame of reference. Like, it has to do with, is God inside me? Is God outside me? God's out there, inside, and everywhere. Okay? And in Unity, we teach that, yes, we believe that God is inside us. And there's times when all of us feel like the best God we want in the moment is one that is holding on to us, is like outside of us holding on to us. Or God is in our friend, who's taking care of us. Or there is a magnificent, wonderful, super cosmic being who's watching out for us. All those things are just perfect. All those things are just perfect. Pierre Teilhard de Chardin wrote this: Christ has a cosmic body that extends throughout the universe. And in Unity, we teach that the Christ is a spark of divinity that is in everyone. So this cosmic body that extends throughout the universe is here for us. This is some more from the Old Testament. Jeremiah. Am I a God nearby, says the Lord, and not a God far off? Who can hide in secret places so that I cannot see them, says the Lord? Do I not fill heaven and earth, says the Lord? People who are writing the Old Testament were very comforted by that thought, that there was nowhere you could be where God couldn't find you or be with you. And this is from Isaiah. This is a comforting verse. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the waters they shall not overwhelm you. When you walk through fire, you shall not be burned, and the flame shall not consume you. Protection. A little bit from the New Testament. 1 Corinthians. Do you not know that you are God's temple, and that God's Spirit dwells in you? So Paul has that message for us. God's Spirit dwells within you. And this is from Acts. So that they would search for God and perhaps grope for God and find God, though indeed God is not far from each one of us. For in God we live and move and have our being. As even some of your own poets have said, for we too are God's offspring. In God we live and move and have our being. Now, there is a Hindu legend. I've actually heard it being accredited to a couple of different ancient myths, and I have to confess right off, I am not a scholar, so I cannot tell you really where it came from. But I know the myth pretty well. And in this rendition, that's a Hindu myth, that all of the humans were gods, but they were misusing their godliness. So the gods who were above them, the main god, Brahman, said, well, we're going to take away their divinity, but we're going to hide it. And all the gods got together. There was like a council of gods, and probably like a convention, for like when we elect our president, probably just like that. They all got together, and they said, where are we going to put this divinity to hide that from the humans? One of the gods said, well, let's put it on the highest mountain. And Brahman said, humans are going to climb the highest mountains. Well, then let's put it in the ocean. I know they are going to get themselves in the ocean. Where are we going to put it? Oh, well, I know where to put it, says Brahman. I'm going to put the spark of divinity in the very center of their being, and they will not find it there. You all knew that was coming. They will not find it there. And when I was meditating on this, okay, God is everywhere present. And I really wrestled with it. Like, well, what is my focus about that? I knew I wanted to express that because I find it very comforting. In fact, I can just say the words, everywhere present, and realize that, okay, everywhere present. God is very present. I find that comforting, and it reminds me to check into the spirit within me, to find God inside of me as well as outside of me. I wrestled with that, and how do you find God inside of you? Well, the irony of that is you have to actually spend a lot of time working to let go of the blocks that prevent us from recognizing and experiencing that we are the divinity, right? On any given day, I might travel in and out of experiencing that I am divinity, as you all do too. Okay? And I know to keep hammering away at those blocks because on a clear day, on a beautiful day when the sun is shining and the sky is blue and the air is crisp and there's nothing but gorgeous leaves everywhere, and you don't maybe have to rake them. When you feel the divinity in all things and the day feels perfect and you also feel perfect, like that, and you feel like, yeah, actually, I think I could be a part of God. I can feel that divinity because I feel so happy and I feel so peaceful, and I feel unconditional love for the people around me and myself. And you get there, even temporarily, because you've let go of the other side of the story, right? Let go. So God being everywhere present has a lot to do with letting go. Letting go is a spiritual practice we talk about a lot in Unity. In fact, one of my minister friends called me up. It's funny because I talk about letting go a lot, and she was saying, so, Cynthia, what do you mean by letting go? I said, well, that's a big question. I guess I mean that by letting go, I'm talking about my ego, which hangs on to things, really grasps onto things being a certain way, the way I want them. And letting go is prying that, or letting go of just for a second or an hour or a day of things the way they're supposed to be. How I want it. How I want it. It's one of those conundrums and a metaphysical joke that letting go of wanting things perfect leads to experiencing things as perfect. It's kind of weird. It's the way it works. Letting go is a spiritual practice. And we get to practice it every single day. Now, you know how it is when you are completely involved in something with your whole being. You are in the flow and you're experiencing God. What do you do? What's a spiritual practice for when that's not happening? It's funny, but what it is not resisting what's happening. And eventually we learn to rejoice when something happens that you don't like, because it's the perfect opportunity. It is the absolute perfect opportunity. The second something starts to irritate you, or somebody, a situation or a person, the second something starts to irritate you, you can practice letting go. And you don't let go by shoving it down. This is really important. You don't let go by just saying, that's okay, I don't care. That is not what you do. The spiritual practice is you actually, you don't resist it. I guess by it, I'm going to say there's going to be a feeling, feeling and or thought, whatever you want to call it. There's going to be a feeling and a collection of thoughts or a collection of feelings and thoughts that you are not going to enjoy. And the spiritual practice is to let it be. To let it be without adding to it, without making it more dramatic. Now, I don't know about you, but I am very good at making things more dramatic. I can take a feeling, and it's been proven that brain scientists have found that if you give, they've done a lot of tests. Some of the most interesting things is that you take a hypnotist who hypnotizes someone, let's say, to open an umbrella in the room. And without fail, after the person's been hypnotized to open the umbrella, when you go ask the person, why did you open the umbrella, they make up a reasonable explanation or unreasonable explanation right on the spot. Because we can't stand, nobody says, I don't know, you must have hypnotized me, even though I'm in a room with a hypnotist. They say, well, I needed to open that umbrella because I saw that it had water on it, or I needed to open that umbrella because it was sticking out, or anything. That our brains make up stuff. And I also know that if you have a feeling, it's our default to make up a story about it. Even though, there's sort of like a vicious, or I shouldn't say vicious, there's like a cycle of thoughts, feelings, thoughts, feelings, thoughts, feelings. So who even knows, what was really the beginning? But you have a feeling. I know sometimes I can wake up tired and I start telling myself a story right away. I mean, I remember I showed that great video of Brene Brown where she woke up tired, she spilled her coffee, her husband called and she blamed him because he was out too late last night and disturbed her sleep. I mean, I love that. That's what we do. It's what we do. It's what all of us do. And I have to admit that I've done a few of those kind of things too. Most things are Roland's fault. In my head. I don't know why that is, but we got to love ourselves when we catch ourselves doing that and faithfully apply this practice. Now, it's not a new practice. It's definitely not a new practice. A lot of people, it's definitely a part of the Buddhist practice. It's definitely part of Christianity. Be of the world and not, be in the world but not of it. And the Buddhists, try to release your attachments. And it's also part of the process is an exploration and a curiosity. Bring some curiosity to what's going on with you without attachment. It sounds simple, but it's really quite difficult. The Hindu process of Advaita is one such process where you just keep asking yourself a question. Well, what is this? And you keep going in and in. Well, what is this? What is it? With curiosity. With curiosity, not with judgment. Well, that's the hardest thing, right? To have curiosity and not judgment. It is extremely tricky, but worth it. Definitely worth it. Now, letting go. The way to let go, I got some of this from a book by David Hawkins. I love him. I love the way he describes the universe. He's got a book. It's actually called Letting Go. It's a whole big, thick book, but some of what he says is he likes to make it simple for us. So be aware of the feeling. Let it come up. Stay with it. Let it run its course without suppression, repression, expression, or escape. Okay, suppression is when we consciously, I don't want to think that. Yeah? Repression is an unconscious thing, so it's pretty hard to catch yourself repressing things because it happens when the thought or the feeling comes so fast, it goes right down. And you can probably tell you're repressing things when all of a sudden you see it out in the universe. When people around you are behaving in an abominable manner and you are very irritated with them, there's probably a little clue that there's something you're repressing that has to do with your guilt. It's just how we do it. It's just what we do. We take that thing we're not happy with and we put it outside on other people. And people are happy to act it out for us. It's just the way the universe works. So without suppression, repression, expression, or escape. Now, I don't know about you, but I did a lot of workshops in the 80s and a lot of therapy starting in the 70s learning to express my anger. Because I grew up in a family where things were confused, I don't know about you, but things weren't clear and it wasn't okay to be angry, even though it seemed like the grown-ups were angry all the time. I swear. And I didn't know, I thought they were always mad at me. But I do know that I had a hard time expressing anger. Unfortunately, I healed that. But I think that expressing with, there's a certain, and I am not ranking on any kind of therapy, okay? Please hear me. I am not. I'm just saying that I know that for my own self, and I have seen other people do this, but expression alone doesn't lead to healing, right? And I have learned that expressing everything I think in a relationship is not a good way to go. I think the best marital advice I ever got was when I read Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, and that guy said, don't say everything to your husband. Or don't say everything to a man. You don't need to. Like, wow, I don't have to say every single thing I think. I don't have to express every angry thought. And at this point, I actually sincerely believe that the healthiest thing is not to tell the person that I'm angry with them. It doesn't mean not to hold accountable, okay? That's a completely different thing. I'm not saying we don't hold each other accountable and speak our truth and ask for what we need. But in the moment, not to express anger. Okay, it hasn't helped, and that's my path. If somebody has never expressed anger, of course they need to learn to express anger, right? I mean, it's all about balance. But just the expression alone to the person you're mad at, because truly we know this, all of our anger is really something inside us that got triggered, even though that person is so annoying. I mean, and they are out there annoying, doing the thing that's annoying, okay? They are doing it. It's true. But the anger is still all in me. The trigger is in me. Even though they're triggering me, the truth is the trigger's in me, right? So as annoying as that person is, I don't know why I keep pointing to Brian, but as annoying as that person is, it's still nothing to do with him and everything to do with what is in me that gets triggered. That's part of, it's all part of that holding curiosity about it and seeing it. So expressing isn't going to help me let it go either. Or escape. Oh, escape. I have gotten better at escape. When I was younger, I didn't want to escape stuff. I really wanted to be down and dirty. And I have to say that maybe the last 20 or 30 years of my life, I am really good at escaping. I can, watch TV, read a book, go to a movie, take a run around the lake. I mean, not that any of those things are bad, but I can do them purposefully to escape, to not deal with what needs to be dealt with. I am really good at escaping. Are you guys good at that? Okay? All right. Now, sometimes you just need to. Everybody's doing the best they can. All of us are doing the best we can at any moment. So let me just recap this. So we're bringing our awareness of a feeling and letting it come up. So we're not going to suppress it, repress it, express it, or escape. Oh, what are we going to do? We're going to focus on the energy behind the feeling. So it's kind of like a Zen trick, all right? Or one of those martial art tricks where you use the weight of somebody against them and, you just somehow they end up on the floor and you don't. It's going to be like that. You're going to let whatever it is that you want to let go of, you're going to actually feel the feeling. You're not going to make up any more stories about it, as enticing as that is. You're not going to get angry, as fulfilling as that might be. You're just going to let it be there with curiosity. Curiosity and some investigation. Okay, like, well, what is going on? And feeling it and not escaping. That's probably the hardest thing for me now because I'm so good at escaping. To feel it and to let it be there. And then if I actually feel the energy, it goes fast, It's a little bit hard to learn, but it actually goes fast. If you feel the energy and not the story with it, it can go fast. You can be present with what is. Let's see. The last thing I had to feel was Roland was away for a week. And it's not that big a deal, but I think I have I have a really good story about it. It bugs me more because for 3 years when I went to school, and most of the time I was in Unity Village and he was in Florida, that was really hard. So I have a story. So that's a good story. I can build it up like that. All this week I was really good at escaping. I watched a lot of TV. Even so much TV that I'm even sick of it. That was a good escape. I also was able to forget it. That the escaping also helps you repress it, right? Or helps you suppress it, because it's a conscious choice. I am not going to feel this feeling. But eventually I decided to feel it. And when I felt it, with some curiosity, the feeling of it wasn't like it was fun, but it was actually a relief. Because that's the whole thing about letting go. If you spend all week not feeling something, and by the way, eating too much. Eating too much, that's another way. And kind of avoiding. If you spend all week avoiding something, you're not totally present. It's like if I rested, so I denied myself a beautiful week of, eventually I caught on. I think the 2 days before he came back, I really sat with it. But up until then, I wasn't totally present. So I couldn't be in the God everywhere present. I was too busy avoiding what I wanted to avoid. So that's the reason. It's like if you're avoiding whatever it is you're avoiding, you're not there for the beautiful everywhere present awesomeness of a day like today, or even a rainy day, or whatever it is, or like when Zach talks about coming in here and, his heart just opens. It's like when we avoid something, we're shutting down a part of us so we can't be present for the awesomeness that is. So that's why we want to do it. So we're aware of the feeling. We're letting it come up. We're not going to suppress it, repress it, express it, or escape. We're going to feel the energy behind the feeling. And we're going to try, while we're doing this, try to resist, try to let go of wanting to resist it. Ignore the thoughts, not make up another story. And just keep letting go. To the best of our ability, we're going to let go. And the reward is we're going to feel the freedom. You know what it's like to feel something like, when something's been bothering you. You all know that experience where all of a sudden a weight is lifted. And it's like, okay. When you've let go of something. It's amazing. It's what A Course in Miracles talks about all the time. The letting go, the miracles of forgiveness. That's letting go. That's what the miracles are in A Course in Miracles. So, the basic teaching of the Buddha says this: avoid attachment to worldly phenomena. Our way shower Jesus Christ, be in the world but not of it. And as I say, Wherever you go, there you are, so you better find a way to like it. Let's take an offering for unity.